I'm Peter Michaels. It is, it's Friday CRAFTernoons, something brand new to the drive with Snake Lake Brewing Company out of Sylvan Lake. Adam is here from Snake Lake Brewing. How's it going?
Great, man. How about you?
Pretty good. I've had a lot of people that are like, geez, Pete, your job's pretty tough.
Yeah, I've been getting that a lot lately, too.
We're going to try some new beer this afternoon. But first, let's hear a little bit about Snake Lake Brewing Company. You guys are some oil field guys that just decided to get into making beer.
Yeah, you bet. Well, it wasn't kind of that simple, but we're home brewers, and we've been brewing at our houses for quite a while, like all grain brewing with great little grain mills and stuff, and kind of got into thinking that we should be doing like a home brew shop because it's kind of catching on. Lots of guys are doing that nowadays. And then it spiraled out of control drastically, and we ended up building a brewery in Sylvan Lake. And so that kind of came to be. We ended up picking up our building in June 3rd, and we've been doing all the work in there as much as we can ourselves. Of course, we got like anything that's got to be up to code done properly, but as much hands-on as we could. We assembled as much of the equipment, and built a 35 hectoliter brewery with lots of help, lots of guys. Everyone in the industry has bent over backwards to help us. It's been absolutely exceptional, and the support we get from everywhere we go, like this is it's a cool place to be, and it's a cool line of work to be in. And the moment is here now. You guys are ready to start debuting this beer as we're about to get introduced into. Go ahead and talk about the Varsity Hall Red Ale. Yeah, so this is actually the first beer we've packaged. We ran our canning line on Tuesday. It's Varsity Hall Red Ale. We put this one together. It's based on the Varsity Hall, which was an icon in Sylvan Lake. We're trying to keep everything as local and kind of teach everybody about the town. When we got tourists coming in, they can grab a six-pack and the stories on the back about all our beers, kind of learn a little bit about town. Varsity Hall was a huge icon in the mid-50s to the 60s. It was a dance hall. Everyone that had anything to do on Friday night was at the Varsity Hall. They were out there partying. Everyone was there for a good time. Done work, done your shift. Everyone went there, and that was the place to be. That was a hit. So even after the Varsity Hall was gone in Sylvan, the chimney from the huge fireplace in there stood in town for the longest time. It's gone now, but it stood for a long time even after the building was gone. But so we made a red ale and named it the Varsity Hall Red, and the labels turned out awesome. All right, well let's crack some of this red ale. It's enough talking. Yeah, time to start. I'm ready to start tasting. Maybe explain a little bit about what is exactly a red ale. Well, so the color is what gives it away mostly, but no, this red ale is. It gets its color and profile from the malts we put in it, which is I can't give away everything, but it's got a lot of hints of like caramel malt and stuff like that. And it has a little bit of that caramel kind of reddish, kind of browny color. The hue, and it separates it from an amber, right? Because the amber's a little more the other scale, and we wanted it to be a red because we wanted to have a red as part, so when you get that color profile of all your beers, you got a nice rainbow, right? Like you want to have every aspect of flavor for everybody. And we went after a lot of reds have really malty finish. We find like they've got a heavy finish. So we lightened up the finish of it. It's got a hop finish, a little bit of bitterness for kind of a craft flair on the end of it. It's a real nice spin on a red ale, and it's not heavy. And I'm already getting the aroma of it, and I'm like, hurry up! I just want to. Yeah, it smells amazing. It smells. That's the dry hopping in it. But so it came out really good, and we the biggest kind of compliment you can get in craft beer or beer anywhere is somebody to say they would order another one. So we wanted a beer that's not heavy, it's not hard to finish, and you would order another one. So that's what we were shooting for. Cheers, man. To Snake Lake. Oh yeah. Yeah. I actually have a friend of mine that had tried a craft beer for the first time last weekend. And the first thing he said was like, wow, there's so many flavors. Oh, yeah. And it really is. There's so many. Well, unfiltered, unpasteurized. We don't knock any of the good flavor profiles out. It keeps all that in there, which is kind of what you lose with the kind of bigger name brand beers. This is real beer. This is like going and buying a homemade loaf of bread as opposed to going somewhere and buying a giant mass-produced one, right? Like this is real beer. This is, and it's the perfect amount. Like there's, a lot of people kind of sometimes get a little fearful of bitterness or overall hoppiness, but this has got the right mix of the maltiness. There's a little bit of that hop there. Yeah, that's an easy. We're kind of going for is easy drinking beers. We want to have beers that can get guys or girls, everybody into the tap room and try them and not be afraid. We're not going to overcompensate with any flavors off the bat. Like our cores are real straightforward. They're nothing crazy. They've got the craft flair in them. They've got the taste, but they're not over the top. You can take them camping. You can sit around a campfire. Very much a camping. Very crushable. Yeah. We want to have something that people want to come back for more. Make your beer, right? Like you want to have a beer that you always reach for. And we will have seasonals that are off the deep end with the craft flair and like all that. But we're going to start out with the cores that are easy and anyone can kind of pick them up.
This red ale is an unbelievably good start. That is a great start. So what are you going to bring for us next week?
We can either bring, I'm trying to throw that around because we got the other cores ready. I'm thinking either the IPA or the Pilsner. Still got a stout Northeast Pale Ale and a Saison.
I want to do them all at once, but we'll spread it out over a little bit of time.
We can roll the dice on that one, but I can try. What do you want to try?
You know, the IPAs are always pretty popular, and I love the theme behind the IPA as well, so let's do the IPA.
Okay, I'll bring her in.
All right, and if people want to look you guys up, website, social media?
Yeah, www.snakelake.beer, not .com, not .ca, just .beer.
Cool.
And our Instagram's at Snake Lake Brew Co. Twitter's the same, and our Facebook's just Snake Lake Brewing Company. Check us out. We'll be putting on there as soon as we're kind of got details on when we're going to open. We'll make sure they're on there. So yeah, check us out on that.
Beauty start to Friday CRAFTernoons. Thank you, Adam.
Right on, man. Thanks. See ya.
Cheers.